What is the difference between Switzerland and Sweden? It's a conundrum that has puzzled many people over the years.
Bro, you gotta watch the Saturday match, England versus Switzerland. Sweden.
But if you're sitting there now with your Swedish chocolate, listening to a bit of Swiss house mafia, stop for a moment, pay attention, and I'm going to talk you through the differences between Sweden and Switzerland. Long story short, Switzerland is a country that believes Muslim women should be forced to shake hands with males, and Sweden is a country that doesn't. In Switzerland, you had the case of a Muslim woman who was denied citizenship because in the interview she refused to shake hands with a male. Over in Sweden, a similar case happened. However, the Muslim woman in question, who was declined a job at a job interview for not shaking hands with a man, was then rewarded compensation. So that highlights the difference in attitudes that Switzerland and Sweden have towards Muslim women and shaking hands and integration. It has been said that societies like Sweden in the cold climate evolved to be more socialist, more collectivist, because up there, if a society wasn't helping each other and working together, they wouldn't survive. It seems the further north you go in Europe, up in Germany and Sweden, the countries further away from the so-called migrant crisis or refugee crisis, these countries have a more positive attitude towards bringing in foreign immigrants and essentially foreign workers to replace the declining population and the low birth rates that they have in their country. I don't think it was out of the goodness of her heart that Angela Merkel opened the doors for Middle Eastern immigration into her country. Meanwhile, further south in Europe, in Italy, in Hungary, the populace are electing further right-wing governments, parties with anti-immigrant agendas. The election in Hungary recently, the winning candidates ran a completely anti-immigrant ticket in order to win the popular vote. The populists in Italy, who have just taken power, also have a zero tolerance policy on immigration. The countries on the edge of the migrant crisis, receiving the refugees at the first stage, seem to be very much against it. And the countries further up, the final destination for many refugees, Germany, Sweden, they seem to have a more positive outlook on Middle Eastern immigration into their countries. So there you have it. Muslim women in Switzerland will be denied citizenship if they don't agree to break with their cultural norms and shake hands with a male stranger. And Muslim women in Sweden, if they are treated like that, will receive compensation for the injustice that they've undergone. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking, well, if you come to our country, you should fit in with our customs.
We have no problem with mosques being built over here, so long as we can build mosques in Mecca. Yeah, I'd love to see that. I would love to see a mosque being built in Mecca.
But be honest with yourself. If you went to live in a strange land, perhaps somewhere in deepest, darkest Africa, where the customs were different from the ones you are used to, and if a tall tribesman met you for the first time and said, in my country, when we meet someone, we grab them by the ass, would you say, well, as I'm here, I better try and fit in when in Rome? Or would you say, no, I'm sorry, actually, we don't do that type of thing where I'm from? That was me doing an English accent, even though I've already got an English accent. Yet again, a thought springs to mind. It's not just Muslim women who would refuse to shake the hand of a male stranger. The Jewish religion also has very similar rules about interaction between the sexes, but that story never seems to come up in the news, or very rarely. Maybe it has. If it has, post a link below. I'd be interested to see.
Sweden.